Hey there, y'all. It's the Reverend. We're here for another L2P network road test. Today we're going to be looking at the M2 and M3 wireless personal monitor systems from Audio-Technica. The footage you're seeing of the band is from the gig where we actually use the products. I'm using the M3 system with a set of custom fit Futuresonics. And the sax player standing next to me is James Dorigo, and he's using the M2 system with a set of universal fit Atrios. We're going to go through here and take a look at both the receivers and the transmitters. Transmitters are a little dark because we did it backstage, just so you've been warned. And then we'll look at the, then we'll wrap it all up. Hey there, boys and girls. It's the Reverend again, and we're here for another video review of this time it's the Audio-Technica M2 and M3 in-ear wireless transmitters and receivers. These are pretty cool little units. M2 is the lower price of the two. We'll show you what the difference is in just a second. And the M3 is, I mean, you can look at it and see there's obviously a difference. The one thing that these both have that I really dig is if you look on the side over here, hopefully you can read that, it says aux in. And you can either run a line level aux in, or you can get one of these handy dandy little clip-on microphones that Audio-Technica sells to go with it, and plug this in and then clip the microphone to your clothing or your guitar strap or whatever works for you, and dial in a certain amount of ambient sound. So the whole boy in the bubble syndrome goes away. It's actually very cool. When I strapped it on last night for the gig, I automatically just cranked the mic way up. I ended up having to crank it way back down. I think I was running on 3 on the mic last night, and it's not like overwhelming. You still get your ear mix, but I could talk to people. I could hear conversations happening next to me. All the stuff that you can't usually do with ears were right there. Anyway, big differences. Obviously, you don't have an LED readout on the M2. This is the less expensive of the two. You set your channel groupings, and you group in the actual channel with the little dial things that we all love so much. However, I've got to hand it to Audio-Technica. The little tool that you use to do it with, right here, there's a clip for it right there. So it's not a case of there being any excuse for you losing it. And then you got dip switches here. The dip switches, the little legend right here tells you what they're for. That's turn on and off the limiter, mix or stereo output, the aux level, whether it's line or mic, and the mode, the input mode, stereo or mono. We're running mono for our mixes here tonight. Okay, so that's the way it's set up. On the M3, everything is menu driven. As it comes on, it'll tell you what the frequency is, and by hitting set and going through the thing, you can set up every parameter that you could ever need. This is definitely a more expensive unit. Battery life is pretty good on these. You probably can't read the screen, but I used it for 3 sets last night, and it's still got half a battery left, so that's not too shabby. Let's go take a look at the transmitters.
Okay, these are our transmitters here. This is for the M2. Similar to the receiver unit, you don't have the control for a menu. You need to set your groups and your channels here on the front. You have output and trim right here on the front, which is actually a little nicer. You don't have to go through a menu to get to it. And the antenna is permanently mounted to the front, okay? So that's like something you got to be aware of. If you break the thing off, you're going to have to replace it. Over here, this is the one for the M3, which again is the higher end model. Everything's menu driven. You've got a lot more control. Same control that we talked about on the receiver is in here, but all of your adjustments have to happen through the menu. You do have a trim control here on the front, but that's for the headphone output, so that the sound engineer, if you're checking the receiver, you don't want to go through the belt packing and plug headphones right into here, which you can do on the other one too. Okay, and you can't see it because it's in the back of the rack, and I'm not going to turn the rack around, but the antenna for this is on the back of the unit and is removable, okay, which means you can use an antenna combiner. So the price difference between these two is about $300 between the two. Performance is similar, but again, you've just got some more capabilities here, a little bit more flexibility.
Okay, so we're back to the band footage. It's time to wrap this thing up. Pros and cons. On the con side, these things are not inexpensive. The M2 system lists for $799. I've seen it online for between $500 and $600. The M3 system lists for almost $1,100. I've seen it online for between $700 and $800. The only other con I can think of is that there's no mending plate included in the box. That's a piece of metal that allows you to put two of these half rack units into a single rack space and attach them together. On the pro side, they sound great. They're real easy to use. That ambient microphone is just the bomb. It overcomes most of the problems that performers have with using personal monitors. You can hear the house, you can hear other people around you. You don't have to take your earpiece out in order to talk to somebody in the band. It works out really well. And when you get down to the price, it's really not any more expensive than a good wedge when you think about it. We were using a bunch of different systems for this gig by a number of different manufacturers, and the Audio-Technica performed at least as well, and in most cases better than some other units, some of which are substantially more expensive. So there you go. This is the Reverend, and we're out.